everyone, welcome back. I have another skincare reaction video for you, but this one's a little bit different because I'm looking at a few different videos. These are influencers who have shared their filler experience and the reason why they dissolved it. They're actually showing us that they decided to actually go back to their doctor or the practitioner and have their filler dissolved. And I think this is a really interesting topic, especially as filler gets more and more popular, especially people doing it like in their lips and stuff. So I have a little bit of a personal interest in this topic as well. I find it very fascinating. So I thought it'd be something that we can have a really interesting conversation around. If you're new to my channel, my name is Susan Yara. I have been in the beauty industry for 2 decades. I started off as a beauty editor. I now have my own skincare line. I love to talk about skincare and beauty specifically on this YouTube channel. And in this topic specifically with filler, I feel like this is something I've been talking about for years. One of the reasons why I started mixed makeup is because I felt like people weren't talking about cosmetic treatments online as much as they should, because these were all things that I knew celebrities and wealthy people and people in Hollywood and stuff were getting done regularly, and they looked really good while they were doing it. And it wasn't always this like botched stuff that you would see, you know, like really hyped up in the media and stuff, because that's what they really tend to focus on. Instead, I wanted to talk about how it can really make you look good. I've talked about my filler experiences. I have my lips done, for instance, and I'll probably never go back. I love having filler in my lips. It's changed my entire face. But I've also had filler in like my tear trough area where I've decided to actually have it dissolved as well. So, you know, after a few years of getting filler done and stuff, I got pregnant, and then I spent basically like, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years of being pregnant and breastfeeding off and on, and you can't really get these kinds of treatments done. So it gave me a really good look at my face with old filler in my face. And I came to this conclusion. It's a personal conclusion. This is not like something that I took away from a doctor or some study or anything like that. But I decided that filler for me doesn't always go away. Like, you have remnants of it left over. And the filler that I had in my face in the tear trough area had been in there for years. And it was starting to make me feel like I actually didn't look good. And the more I like would think about it and stuff, and the more I would look at myself in the mirror and in videos and everything. And so I decided to have my filler dissolved because I decided I never needed it in the first place. It was just something I did because, you know, sadly, it was a little bit trendy. It still kind of is trendy to get under eye filler, and not everybody needs it. And I decided I was one of those people that didn't need it. And after I had it removed, it confirmed to me that I think it made me look like I had bags under my eyes, versus now I feel like I actually look better without under eye filler. So it's a really interesting concept to me. For this video, I also reached out to 2 facial plastic surgeons. One of them is Dr. Dhir and also Dr. Dhir. I have had both of them on this channel before. They really have a special focus on the face, which is why I wanted to get their opinion about some of this stuff. So I asked them some questions for this video. With this video, I want you to remember also, this is a reaction video. This is really just for entertainment purposes, but also to just open up this conversation with you. I think it's always interesting to see these experiences and these examples online and then have that conversation, because it really helps everything kind of come together. It gives you new perspective. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at Molly-Mae. She had her lip filler dissolved, which I think is of particular interest since lip filler is so popular. Again, I've had mine done. I have lots of thoughts around this one, so let's just go ahead and watch the video.
So today is a really exciting and nerve-wracking day. I have really mixed emotions about it. This is something that I've been kind of putting off now for like the last 6 months. Basically, as you've seen from the title, today I am getting my lips dissolved. Now, this is just a massive thing for me because my lip filler journey has just been a very long one. I've been getting my lips filled with filler since I was about 17, which is literally ridiculous. And I feel like in today's video, I kind of want to talk you through the process of...
So she says that she's been getting her lips done since she was like 17 years old. I was looking it up. She's like 22 years old now. So just judging by that, we can say she's been getting this done for a few years, at least 4 years straight. So that's always very interesting to point out, because sometimes people think that they need to get their filler dissolved just because it looks bad or it like was botched, like maybe after the first time they got it done. But this is a good example of sometimes just needing to start from zero all over again. There do come times, especially when it comes to lip filler, where it can migrate a little bit or it starts to get a little lumpy looking and stuff. And sometimes you need to just get rid of it and start all over again, which is such an annoying process, but something that can definitely happen. Even if you go to the most amazing doctor ever, this can still happen, especially because of the way our lips are. are. When you speak to the doctors, natural is the look that you are trying to go for. You know, I don't really know any doctors, at least not good doctors, who are like, oh, we want to go for an unnatural look. Most of your doctors, the nurse practitioners, anyone who is trained and certified to give you lip filler treatments, they all want you to look natural, just treatments in general. They want you to look natural. Most people want to look natural. So when it's not looking natural anymore, or it's not looking right, the shape's not looking good, then that is definitely a reason to get your filler dissolved. And this can actually happen even after your first time. You might decide that you don't like it. And this is one of the things that's great about filler, is that it's expensive and it's not necessarily comfortable, but you can technically reverse it.
We kind of undoing, redoing, what's the word when like you kind of like rewinding younger mistakes. I'm really going through a bit of a journey at the moment with everything, like just really toning things down, making myself feel a lot more natural. I'm even undergoing things to do with my teeth at the moment to make them look more natural. I've had things dissolved all throughout my face. I don't know if you guys can kind of tell, but I feel like I'm really starting to go back to the way I used to look before I had filler, and I'm really, really happy about it. It is a bit of a taboo subject, and I feel like sometimes you get respected, you get respect for talking about it, and a lot of the time you get like hate for talking about it. But I feel like with this, I'm sort of like telling you guys my mistakes and sort of showing you how I'm going to sort those mistakes out.
I mean, she makes a really great point. You're like kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't when you talk about the treatments that you're getting done. She was really young. I mean, to be 17 and start getting these types of treatments, she's talking about how she wants to like rewind and go back to who she was. I mean, she's only 22 years old. In this video, I think like 21 years old. And you know, it does make me really sad. If you've been watching me for a while, I actually talk about all the time that I don't recommend for people that are young to really start getting these kinds of treatments done. Obviously, if something bothers you a lot and you have the means to change it, go for it. But just know that like once you start getting cosmetic treatments like this done, you kind of don't stop, or you have to rewind like she's doing, and it's a costly mistake. I mean, you're changing the way you look, really, like when it comes down to it. Like, are you ever gonna go back to like 100% what you looked like before? Probably not. I mean, you can probably get really close to it, and when you're younger, you can probably get closer to it. But you know, it's one thing to really take into account, like how much of your face do you want to change? How much of your appearance do you really want to change and then also maintain? Because even reversing this can be very expensive. I mean, talking to the doctors, they were acknowledging, like Dr. K acknowledged that if, you know, an injector, a really good injector, has a patient come back and they say that they don't really like something and it needs to be tweaked, then a good injector will absorb that cost to fix it, to make sure that their patient is happy. But if you're just coming back because you just want to start rewinding because you're sick of like the decisions that you've made and all that kind of stuff, it can be expensive. It can cost anywhere between $350 to $700, and it all depends on how much filler is in your face in the first place.
I'm gonna head off now. I'm really nervous. I'm just honestly, guys, like I remember my lips before filler. There was nothing there. Like I had literally no lips.
Have you guys seen that meme? My friends will send it to me every once in a while. I'll pop it up on the screen. It's like my lips on my old Facebook account versus my lips now. It's pretty awesome. That's me. No, but I mean, it really is like, it changes your appearance to get something like your lips done. Even if it's very subtle, it changes your complete appearance.
So I am really nervous to see what they're gonna look like. I just don't like the way they look. I feel like over the last few months, I've really noticed how kind of like unnatural they look. You can really see how much filler is in my lips, and like they just feel really hard, and it's just time they went. It's time they went.
So right there, just that like up close, I could kind of see it from far away, but when you go in close like that and she shows us her lips, you can see that bumpiness, but her also saying that it is rock hard is not the way your lips should feel. My lips do not feel rock hard. I would be so sad if that's how my lips felt, and that is absolutely a reason to dissolve your filler. Talking to the doctors, you can actually feel like when you first get filler done, especially in the lip area, that first 2 weeks, it can feel a little bit hard because it could be swelling and your lips just kind of adjusting and stuff. But as a whole, like your lips shouldn't feel like that. Like on a regular basis, after that first like 2 weeks and after talking and checking in with your doctor, you definitely should not have rock hard lips, and that is definitely a reason to dissolve your lip filler.
Getting it done at the skin doctor, but I'll leave the details all down below of where I'm going. It's not a free treatment, I am paying for it, but I just obviously want to show you guys what I'm doing anyway. So this is us, and we're gonna head in now. Lying down on the chair, I'm nervous, and Selena just asked me if I want a dental block or numbing cream, but we're not gonna go for a dental block. We're gonna be a big, brave girl, and we're just gonna get the numbing cream. So yeah, anyway, this is my lips before, just so you guys can get a clear view of what they look like. They have got lumps in, they've got bumps in, they're uneven. I reckon in total I've probably got about 5 ml of filler in these altogether. I've not had them done for about a year now, maybe a bit more actually.
That is a lot of filler to have in your lips. Talking to the doctors, and they were like, that's definitely on the higher end of the amount of filler that you need for your lips to look natural. You know, Dr. Dhir acknowledged that he can't like say that there's like this true amount that you have to put onto your lips because it is different for each person. And this sounds like something that she's been doing over time, but it really is a lot of filler, and it's definitely not something that a good injector would want to do just in one sitting. So she's got a lot of filler to get rid of. As far as like the dental block or the numbing cream, you can actually get both done. A dental block is truly what you get like when you go to a dentist. That's when they inject the numbing into your mouth area, and you really like, you're numb for hours and hours. Some people prefer that. I personally hate that. To me, that's like more traumatizing than the actual experience of getting filler and even getting it dissolved. But for people who don't like the feeling and that feel like it does hurt, I guess a dental block to them is less painful. So this is all preference and how you want to be numbed. But as far as what they're using to dissolve the filler, they're using something called hyaluronidase. Hyaluronidase. It's hard to say, but they're using something that's going to dissolve the filler. So it's an enzyme that's going to dissolve your filler. While I don't think the enzyme personally hurts, it's still injections into those places where you have that filler. And if you have a ton of filler in your lips like that, of course it's not going to feel good, right? So really your injector will have these different options on ways to make it a little bit more comfortable, but I guarantee it's not gonna feel great.
So they've not been done for a long time, but still that filler is just like rock hard and just thriving basically, and it needs to go. You think does it look really wrong?
How's that?
That was fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
See?
Surprisingly, that wasn't actually wrong.
So hopefully this isn't like some super grid.
Cement stuff.
It'll come out nicely.
How would you know like if it was like something else that wasn't going to come out?
It just wouldn't shift. Like hyaluronic acid will always go with the highlights. And if it's just not going, we've got to presume that it's something else.
It's like a scary movie. Like you don't want to see, but then you're like, I kind of want to see what's happening.
Bleeder, are you?
Really?
I was expecting something like, most people bleed out their lip quite a lot.
That's good. I'm not a bleeder. Hola, señoritas.
I wish we would have heard from this injector what she thought the problem was, right? Was it just years of having filler done to her lips and like it just started to bunch up or something? I wish we would have heard what that cause was, right? So that's a little bit of a bummer. Another thing to note, hyaluronidase does not necessarily work right then. You'll get a good idea of what it's gonna look like pretty quickly, I think, but you know, a lot of the injectors tell me that it takes like 2 weeks to really see how much of it's gonna dissolve and whether you're gonna need more.
So, I'm home, guys, and wow, my lips. They're not there anymore, they've gone. Okay, guys, I'm gonna show you what they look like now. Ready? Oh my, it doesn't even look that different. Oh my God, I literally just FaceTimed my sister and we were both crying at how small my lips have gone. Let me get this in focus, hang on. This is completely and utterly swollen. They're gonna literally be way smaller than this tomorrow. I can already tell. Like when I got in the car, guys, I should have vlogged it, but like I was just so traumatized. Like they were literally this big. They were so swollen. I was like, oh my goodness. But I knew they were gonna swell up really bad. I got told this. And I didn't expect the swelling to go down this quick. And they're literally, when I say there's nothing in there, like it's literally gone from like being rock solid to just it being like, look how like liney they are, because there's just no filler in there. And like I'm weirdly like happy about it. Like I just don't know how to feel about it. Like I feel like I've gone back to like 15-year-old me again.
So this actually answers a question that I think a lot of people have, and that is, will you actually go back to what you were? Like, does filler stretch out your skin and all of that kind of stuff? There are no studies that show that it's going to, like stretch out your skin or anything like that. And if anything, Dr. K says that your lips will go right back to where they were, and it's almost instantaneous when it comes to using this enzyme that breaks it down. She also talks about how like lymphatic massage and that kind of stuff can even make it happen quicker, but she does say that it usually goes right back to where it was before the filler. A lot of people also worry that this enzyme that breaks down hyaluronic acid, if it will break down your own natural hyaluronic acid that we actually naturally produce. And as far as the doctors say, apparently it does not. But we do have to take into account that if you've had filler in your face for years, you do have to take natural aging into account. Just like everything slows down, right? We talk about how collagen production slows down. Same with hyaluronic acid. Your natural hyaluronic acid production slows down. So over these years, you might have this natural breakdown or slowdown in your production of hyaluronic acid, or just aging in general that you might suddenly see when you dissolve your filler. So that's something that you should keep in mind for sure.
She used apparently like a record amount of dissolver on me, which is hilarious. I knew she was going to need to use loads because I'm not being funny, but I mean, that's a better light. You can kind of see a bit better there.
All right, so I think we've got a good idea. I'll tell you, I actually think her lips look really, really good. I have not gone back to see what her lips look like now, so she could look like a completely different person. But you can see how pretty quickly, like it's almost instantaneous, how much her lips have already gone down in this video. And it's just interesting to see. She definitely looks way more natural right after that treatment. It's very, very interesting. All right, so for this next video, I'm looking at a woman named Gabi DeMartino. And really in this video, I'm gonna focus on areas of like 906 to 1156 in her video. So for this video, she's getting her cheeks dissolved. So it's a completely different area than the lips, but it's not a completely different process. It's really a very similar process. She is 26 years old, according to the internet. I go back to, again, in some ways it makes me very unhappy. And maybe it's just something I need to get over, like seeing such young women get so many treatments done, so much plastic surgery done. And, like I miss those years of, just not trying to look too overly perfect, This is like that Kylie Jenner Kardashian effect on everybody and social media and stuff.
But anyways, we're in the bathroom, and that's because I'm about to open up to you guys about something that I'm going to do tonight. As you can see, my hair's been back, and that's because I'm gonna remove my face makeup for the rest of the night. And I'm doing so because I don't know if I'm gonna vlog this or not. I'm probably not gonna vlog this because it's one, it's gonna be painful, and two, I don't want to put that spotlight on my nurse practitioner slash friend. You guys who have been with me since last month know that I got reconstructive facial surgery. I got 4 different procedures done. Before I got that work done, I got this cheekbone filler right here and right here, and it looked good before I got my procedures done. But once I got all of this done and like got literal fat sucked out of my face, these stick out so much, and it just doesn't go with my new face. So I'm getting my filler dissolved.
So this is interesting commentary because there's plastic surgery involved in this too. I would argue that, like your plastic surgeon would have asked all of these questions, like where do you have filler? They might have even said, we're gonna have to dissolve some of this to get like that true look in your face and stuff and see how it's gonna look. I mean, a plastic surgeon who likes a natural look might have even suggested to just dissolve it to go with this new look that she was going for. So it'd be interesting to be like a fly on the wall in these consultations and conversations with the plastic surgeon. I can see what she's talking about, that her cheekbones really do stand out. I would argue some people want that, but if she doesn't like it, it's always, obviously it's a personal preference thing. So it's interesting to hear that this is why she's doing this.
I've never had filler dissolved in my entire life, and I know everyone's probably gonna be like, yes, Gabby, do your lips next, they look terrible. No, I love my lips. I'm probably gonna leave the filler here, but get the whole front dissolved, because I don't know if you noticed, well, you guys actually noticed on the Nikki and Gabby channel, my face just looks puffy, and that's because with the way that I smile, this filler right here is just like so like outward, and it makes my face look puffy. So I'm gonna get all of this dissolved. This is like so big right here, and I might leave this, I don't know, it might migrate and dissolve that. I won't complain if that gets dissolved too, but I know that this part, like this little hump when I turn my head, looks cute, which is lateral. I'm gonna be all technical, that's on the side. I'm gonna get the anterior, the one that sticks out right here. I'm getting all that dissolved. I know I'm very honest about the things that I do to my face, and actually as of lately, I've gotten so much hate for being honest about the stuff that I do.
It's interesting that she's talking about this too. I hate that. You guys want people to be honest or you don't want them to be honest, because I actually think being honest is important because it gives people a better perspective on what it takes to look like this, instead of, thinking that this is natural and this is how people look, like we're led to believe sometimes. They're at least telling you, this is stuff that I've had done to myself to look this way.
We have a video going up on the Nikki and Gabi channel soon where I explain, like, I'm doomed if I tell you and I'm doomed if I don't, because I saw a lot of drama online with a certain celebrity for hiding behind a bush. And you guys get pissed off at celebrities when they don't want to own their shit, but then when people like me own their shit, you want to tear me apart, tell me how ugly I am, tell me what I've done wrong. I am very satisfied with what I've done. The only thing that I'm not satisfied with is the placement of my filler, because that was made to go with my old structure of my face. My face was a completely different face shape before I got these procedures done. I'm getting this dissolved because it does not go with my new face shape. My new face shape is like a heart or like a diamond. My old face shape was a circle. I got this filler in my cheekbones to make my face look like a heart or a diamond, like to give like more of like a structured illusion to my face, since it was so circular and round and I hated it. My nurse practitioner is gonna come over and dissolve it. I'm getting my filler dissolved and I never thought this day would come. I guess you guys are here with me for every journey, so.
I'm gonna fast forward through some of this, but one note that she did mention is that her friend / nurse practitioner is coming over to do this. That's not something that I would ever expect somebody to do. It needs to be in a sanitary condition. You should technically be doing this at the doctor's office. So that's just something I want to throw out there. This sounds like a little bit of like skirting around stuff because she's got a friend, and I don't recommend that either. All right, so we're gonna pick this back up to after she's had her filler dissolved.
So it's the next morning and I did my makeup. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but my cheeks are down. My face isn't swollen anymore. So I used to have like that like filler right here and right here. And my face is like how it was before the cheekbone filler. So like take it back to like May of 2019. This is what it looked like. So this is my new face without the cheekbone filler and I love it. I can't believe I just did that. I never in a million years thought I would get filler dissolved. I think it looks really good and it needed to happen.
You can actually see a massive difference. And I think, it's just interesting to point this one out because, again, one of the interesting things about filler is that you can reverse it and dissolve it. It's an interesting reason to dissolve your filler. So we're gonna move on to another person. This is Toni Sevdalis, and I'm gonna kind of jump around to a couple of things. Also getting her filler dissolved, this is in her lips.
Hey you guys, welcome back to another vlog. Today's vlog, I'm a little bit nervous for what I'm doing. I'm going to get my lip filler dissolved. This is a long time coming. The reason I'm doing it is because I've gone to so many different places to get my lips done, and I've done it for so long that I have filler like deep in my lips, and I've been waiting for it to dissolve naturally, but it just doesn't. And recently my lips have been getting very, very swollen, especially in the morning, and I just honestly look insane. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, whoa. So we're gonna go get them dissolved. I don't know if I'm gonna film that whole process. I didn't ask the girl who's doing it, but I will be reporting back and showing you guys how I recover.
So the reason why I wanted to just touch on this one really quickly is because what she said really struck me, and I think this is something that happens all the time. She has seen more than one person to get her lips done. I don't know her reasoning for that, but I know a lot of people do that, whether it's because they went to one person first who they had an interesting experience with, or they didn't like love the experience, but they loved their lips, and then they decided to go to just somebody else, or like maybe they got a deal. This is where you truly like don't want to have deals. Like you're not looking for a coupon on your lip filler or any kind of filler in general or any kind of cosmetic treatment. You really need to be careful about this stuff. This is the kind of stuff that you need to find the right injector and then stick with it when you find that person. And there are several reasons why you want that. First off, every time you're going to a new person, they have to get to know your face, right? So like they might not do exactly what you want that first time, but as they get to know your face, they get better and better, and they make you look more and more natural. The other reason is because these other injectors don't know what's been done to your face then, right? So if you have like one type of filler in your lips, they might use a different type of filler. And while they're all, for the most part, hyaluronic acid based fillers, they all are slightly different. And every injector has a preference in what they want to use on you. So they don't know how much has been injected in the past. They don't know what kind of reactions you've had. They don't know anything about what's happening to your face if you're hopping around to different people. And sometimes they won't even ask, right? So that's another thing to worry about. You do not want to injector hop. You just do not. Like, it's not the same thing as like hopping around to a new hairstylist. And actually, if you ask me, I don't hop around with my hairstylist either. Like, I really like to stick with my beauty people. Like, the people that make me look good are the people I am holding tight and close, because I want to be consistent in how I look, and I want them to know my face and my hair and everything that we're working on, right? I do not want to hop around to a lot of different people, and this is exactly what can happen. All right, so we're gonna hop over to actually about the 6:30 mark in her video, and she has now had her lips dissolved. And P.S., I'm gonna be leaving all the links to the original videos in the description box if you want to see the full video.
I just showered, I've been cleaning all day, and this is the first time I'm checking in. After all the swelling from sleeping went down, so this is the update.
You know, something I want to point out also is that she sounds better. Did you guys notice that she almost sounded like she had a lisp? Your filler should not affect the way that you speak. Again, those first couple of weeks when your lips are swollen and all that kind of stuff, especially after the first time you've ever done it, your lips do feel a little bit weird, but that it should not be causing you to have some kind of a speech impediment or anything like that. So she's already sounding better besides looking better.
I'm really happy with this. This is like the size my lips were before. Like, this is from the side. Don't mind, this is just from me healing. I'll show you guys how I make them look really big. I also think it looks a lot better on camera. When I'm talking to the camera, I don't feel as like, oh, I need to find good lighting where my lips don't look insane. Like, that used to be a thought that went through my head. Like, I should have known there was an issue. My lips definitely went down more than I was expecting. If you feel underneath here, there's no more lumps.
I mean, that was a great reason to get her filler dissolved in her lips. She looks better, she sounds better, it looks way more natural. I mean, she's got her techniques to make her lips look bigger. You know, not everybody needs filler either. I would argue that I would have been like jealous to have these lips naturally if that's what her lips were like before her filler. But you know, like, everyone, to each their own, and I'm glad that she got this done. But really, my big takeaway from that one was you do not want to injector hop. You do not for your lips, not for any cosmetic treatment like that. All right, so another video I'm gonna look at is Alana Arbucci. And the reason why I chose this one is because, you know, this is actually the video that caught my attention in the first place. There was a plastic surgeon who actually reacted to this video as well, and it really got my mind like thinking about it, and I'll leave that video in the description box. It's just so fascinating. She has her jaw filler dissolved. I mean, she just apparently had a lot of things dissolved, but it's just really interesting. I think people don't even think about all the places that you can get filler done, but she had her jaw filler dissolved, and I just think, you know, let's talk about it. There's some bumpiness that she's dealing with her lips and stuff too.
Today we're getting my jaw filler removed. I actually didn't take the after, so maybe I should take the after now. Ooh, don't look. What was I gonna say? So basically the whole story, if you don't know me, I just got a puppy, and she's so cute.
That is a cute puppy.
Yes. And I was in a 4-year relationship. I got engaged. I posted a lot of videos about buying a home with this person, getting married, planning my wedding, and now a lot has been changing. I'm posting this whole series because it's so important to stop trying to chase people who are not good for you, and it's so much easier to let go of those people if you're confident with yourself.
You know, it's true. You don't want to change yourself for somebody else. That's really not a good thing. And it sounds to me, without getting into like the whole video and all the series and stuff that she's posted, that she was trying to change herself to be something that she wasn't for somebody else.
Right after I got my jaw filler done, I was not happy with it. And that was the first thing that I ever had done that I immediately was like, I don't like it.
So that's an interesting point right there. There are times where you might get some filler done, whether it's in your jaw, whether it's anywhere on your face or anywhere that you can put filler, and you might look at it and go, oh, I don't like this. From my experience, your injector is gonna say to you, well, you need to let it calm down, like take a couple of weeks to see where it settles and everything, because it might look like big to you, but you know, this is swelling as well, so we need to let this come down and see if you like it then. This is the same also as if you like decide that maybe you want more, your injector might still tell you like, we put a lot, let's come back and revisit this in 2 weeks. So that's always gonna happen. So no matter what, even if you like don't like it immediately after, your injector likely is gonna tell you to go home and sit with it for a second before you have it dissolve. So you can immediately think though that you don't like a procedure that you got done. You know, again, it's interesting that you can get filler dissolved. I mean, there's some filler that you can't just get dissolved. It's gonna last for a while, but this is the type of filler that you can have dissolved pretty quickly.
There are other things that I've had done that later on I was like, I don't like this. Like I had bumps in my lips, so I got my lip filler dissolved. I just put this plumping stuff on that I made myself.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna even get into that. This is not a skincare routine reaction, but you guys know how I would feel about that.
I also got my under eye filler dissolved because even though I initially liked the result of that, I developed these like huge dimples and like really weird bumps under my eyes. Even if that wasn't anything that the injector did wrong, it's still something that didn't look good. So whatever the reason was, like if it was placed in the wrong area or if it was just how my body was dissolving it or how it moved in my body, it didn't look good. And I was so insecure about it. I would never smile in photos because every time I would smile, you would see it 100 times more. Like you wouldn't really see it if I was just like posing like that.
So this is kind of where I was getting with my tear trough filler. I was starting to feel like it actually made me look worse than, like it wasn't making me look good, it was making me look worse. It was like so subtle that I felt like I was the only person noticing this. I'd mention this to like people I work with and stuff, and they'd be like, I don't see what you're talking about. But now that it's gone, they totally see what I was talking about. Your filler should not make you feel insecure about the way you look. And that's definitely a reason to go have a conversation with your injector afterwards and be like, I think we need to get rid of this, or this is not the way it was supposed to look. Again, like that would be another reason to go get it dissolved. I feel like this conversation of tear trough filler and not liking it, especially over time, is going to become a bigger and bigger conversation because of the way it is placed. Just interesting things I've heard from, like doctors and stuff like that too. These are those things that like as we like over time and more people get these treatments done and stuff, these are those things that we start to hear about more and we're gonna see more of. So it's interesting to just hear like all these things that she's had dissolved. And I go back to, this is again, commitment. Whenever you are getting some of these treatments done, you have to remember, the younger you start, the longer you have to start to not like it too, and to have to change things up, and you might want more stuff done. It's a lot of work for your face. It's very expensive. So if you don't have that kind of money, you might want to think twice about this too, and getting into that kind of a commitment, because even to reverse it again, it's expensive. It's definitely not cheap. So these are things to definitely keep in mind.
The thing that was holding me back though from getting my jaw filler dissolved and the under eye was like that everyone says it burns so bad. And even though I feel like I have a high pain tolerance because I've had so many things done and injected into me and I've had surgery and stuff like that, I was just kind of nervous about the burning.
That is fair. I did not get my filler dissolved for the longest time because I was scared of the pain. And you know what's hilarious about that is I had 2 babies. I had 2 C-sections and I was worried about this burning that I was gonna feel from dissolving the filler. I'll tell you what, it's nothing. Once it happens, it's done. You'll be so much happier if you feel like you need to dissolve your filler. Don't let that thought bother you. The word burning is really scary. It's not like that. And again, if you go to a really good injector, they're going to try to do everything to minimize the pain. But either way, even if it is a little uncomfortable, it goes away. It's done. And then you'll be happy with the results if you dissolve it.
So I kind of like ignored the problem and was like, it's not that bad. But then I was like, it's really bad and it's really affecting how I feel about myself. So as part of this journey, I guess, of really figuring out what I need to do to get to like my best self and my happiest self, I decided like, you're gonna get this dissolved because you were happier with your natural face. Now you have like all these insecurities that you pretty much like did to yourself because they were never there before.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop over to 10:07 in this video where she's actually getting the filler dissolved. Again, I will leave the original video in the description box. If you wanna watch the entire video, you can.
She filled the left side on like my cheek and cheekbone area, and then also next to my chin and the jaw area. No more needles. I think it's pretty clear looking back on this situation that I didn't need anything on the left side of my face. You can see once again from this clip of me before I had any of the cheek or jaw filler that my left side was very like strong. It didn't really need anything. And if there was an imbalance and the right side had less volume than the left, and we were trying to get the right side to look like the left,
putting filler in the left is still making the left look bigger than the right.
All right, so there was a part in this video where she talked about how she had this like imbalance where her left side looked larger than her right side, and they were trying to balance out the way she looked, but then they actually made it look worse and made her left side stand out even more, which is also, you know, these are conversations to be having with your injector, and the reason why you need to go to the right injector, because this is an art. Like when a person looks at you, this is why I'm also like, you find your people and you stick with your people, because there's an aesthetic and you have to jive, right? And know what it is that you want, and that person has to understand it. Because in some ways they're like sculpting you. You're like their piece of art.
So after she filled the whole right side, I still didn't see an improvement in what I came in for, which was just to get rid of that divot right next to my chin on the right side of my face. No more needles. I do want to say that when you go to these places, and it's not all of them, but when you go to certain medical spas, they're going to advertise their other treatments all over the place. The people who check you in are going to talk about treatments that they've had done and things that you should try, and everyone's going to like recommend things that you should do, and oh, your face has this line and this unevenness and blah 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 blah. And it's really easy to get caught up in that and to start like pinpointing things, which you've probably seen me do, that you didn't even realize before you went in there. I wanted to mention that because that's not something that I realized until after I let those words influence what I was doing.
I actually love that she pointed this out. And I love that she's, you know, pointing out her, like she's had these insecurities and stuff. And I'm not saying that nobody deals with that. I've obviously dealt with insecurities and had things done to solve this, but you know, it's true. You walk into a lot of these places. Med spas are kind of like those kinds of places, right? Where you see all these treatments that you can have done and stuff, and then it starts being like you're a kid in a candy store and you're like, well, what magical things am I going to do to my face, right? And you really have to take a step back and remember that this is very personal. Not everybody needs to get everything done. And you know, like, there are tools out there for you, but you don't need everything. Just like you don't need every skincare ingredient and every skincare product. They're not all made for you. It's the same with all of these cosmetic treatments. I, again, like to build a relationship with my injector or my plastic surgeon, any of those kinds of people, and just make sure that we stay on the same page. I prefer a practitioner who will tell me when I'm being a little intense, right? Because we all have our moments. There was a moment where I went in to see one of my friends, Dr. Dhir, who is a facial plastic surgeon, and I was like, I need a facelift. I said that to him, and it's because I was feeling so insecure. And he sat there and he was like, no. No, how about no? That's the answer. And I'm so glad he told me that, because I was feeling real intense, maybe a little hormonal even. And you know, had I gone to the wrong person who was like, yeah, we'll do anything. Like, let's try all these different treatments and spend thousands of dollars and stuff. And you know, like maybe in this like moment of weakness or something where I was like feeling insecure about myself, I might have done something that I would have regretted. And so these are definite things that you should consider and why you should build a relationship with somebody that you trust.
I'm happy with myself how I am now, and that's huge. And that's something that has not happened overnight and something that I'm still working on. Like, obviously I have insecurities, but as part of this whole change that I'm going through in my personal life, I'm trying really hard to focus on what I like about myself and not the outside, what I like about who I am as a person. Look around and see what I've achieved. You know, I have this apartment. I'm going to be buying a house next year. I did all of this by myself. Those are all things that I'm like, you know what? You might have a little freaking indent in your face, but you're a strong ass person, and that means so much more than having a symmetrical jawline.
And I'm gonna end it on that note, because that is truly why I left this video for the end. I want you guys to remember that what we see on social media, this like perfection that we aim for sometimes, is not real. We have asymmetric faces, asymmetric body parts, you know, it's normal and it's beautiful and it's what makes us unique, and we don't need to pursue so much perfection. I am an advocate for getting cosmetic treatments done if you feel like there is something that you want to fix, but I'm also an advocate for keeping it minimal and doing what makes you look natural, right? Like, you don't want to look like you've had a ton of work done, in my opinion. Some people might want that, but I think this is truly like the final message, is that yes, you've got all of these different treatments that you have access to, and if you've got the money to get them done, then you know, more power to you. But It's always important to take a step back and look at who you are. None of these types of treatments are going to fix what's happening in here and what's happening with your health or anything that's happening around you. You cannot fix your problems by trying to get perfection when it comes to your looks. And I think that's really the big takeaway. I mean, I wanted to take a look at these videos and stuff because it's just so fascinating, but really at the end of the day, looking at all of this kind of stuff and sharing it with you, I really just wanted to open up this conversation of, like backtracking and really understanding what it is that you want to get done and knowing that, there's pros and cons to getting things done. I always talk about the things I've had done, the treatments I've had done, the cosmetic treatments that I've had done, but I guess we don't talk enough about reversing it and regret also and what it can also start to do to your self-esteem when you don't like the way it's looking, right? And when you're realizing you have to keep doing more and more and more to try to get this perfection that is unattainable. So keep that in mind, I really want you guys to have a healthy relationship with your appearance and with what you see online when it comes to how people look. And remember that all of us have our own insecurities too, and obviously if we're getting stuff done, we have some insecurities, just like everybody else. So that's my takeaway. I mean, there are so many other things that I could talk about. I'm not a doctor, right? I think if you have questions about dissolving your filler, you should go see your injector. You should go see a doctor. I always prefer a board certified plastic surgeon or a dermatologist for these kinds of things, for filler especially, but you can absolutely go see a nurse practitioner. There are PAs who are also trained to do this and do a really great job. Just make sure that you know their background, their experience, and they have some really good examples to give you too. So let me know in the comments if there are other topics like this that you want me to talk about. I have access to so many amazing doctors. Some of the best in the world are here in Beverly Hills and Los Angeles. I have doctors that I talk to all over the world as well, especially here in the United States. So if you want us to address some of these kinds of things, I'm happy to. This is an interesting way to open up this conversation, I think, reaction style. You can find me on Instagram. I'm at Susan Yara. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.